Even today, I remember every day of that, and it was a long trip. And came down, went up through the valley into St Johnsbury Center, and then crossed into Canada, came down past Mount Washington. It was my first real view of mountains. Circled Mount Washington and then back home. Until the ski troops, nothing else happened. That was from 13 till 17 or 18 in the ski troops, and then I found mountains out here.
So your experience with the mountains at that age
came out of that.
Also led to your deciding that you wanted to join.
I don't think there was any question about it. It was one of those things that turned me on, and afterward, I didn't find very much of it around. But once I was up at Hobart, there was a lot of involvement in outdoors, and not enough to warrant, say, the ski troops, because the initial group were all the skiers, competitive skiers, mountain climbers, the émigrés from out of Europe, every skier in the country, but then there were no more. I mean, skiing was not an in thing, and so they started to pick those. You had 3 letters of recommendation. Those people who had a love for outdoors, who had been outdoors, who had some kind of involvement and whatnot. And so you were a volunteer. And once in, there was no way of out. I mean, you couldn't transfer to another outfit. You were in. It was quite a group.
How many years of college had you had when you dropped out to join the
3 months.
3 months, okay.
And it was going well. But it just wasn't the time.
Yeah.
And never went back.
Okay. And so this was 1943?
I volunteered in the end of 1942, in December of 42, and I went in January.
And you were 19 at the time?
18.
18. Okay.
And all that means.
What does it mean?
Well, you think it's everything. There you are, and it is. I mean, we are what we are at the time we are. But boy, life is a changeable feast. And as you look back, it's just a different ball game all the way. But at the time when you're 18, you're everything. You're it. And on the other hand, to be, in charge of 30 men or 20 men and life-giving and taking situations.
You grow up quickly.
You grow up very quickly. That whole experience has carried me through life.
Where did you do your basic training?
Where
did you do basic training?
At Camp Hale, Colorado, which is somewhere around 9.5, almost 10,000 feet, the base camp. So it's really the first time I ever saw mountains in that sense. I mean, 14,000-foot peaks so long. And it was very, very difficult basic training. They really laid it on. 90-pound packs became the de rigueur. It wasn't all the time. Sometimes you were in 50 or 60, but once a week, you were out on a progressively longer 90-pound pack march. Well, at 118 pounds, 90 pounds is a lot of pounds going, but that's at 18, right?
Right.
Or 20. And it was just, at the same time, it was extremely rugged for everybody in going. On the other hand, the surroundings for me were fantastic, and the people were very, very nice. We got involved in, at an early point, somewhere in 1943, not long after I was there, another 3 or 4 months later, the reconnaissance, who were the trainers, who were the professional skiers that were with us, I always thought it was to cook up for themselves an excuse to go from Camp Hale to Aspen, cross-country. Fun thing to do, right? But you're in the Army and you're in the ski troops, you have to have a reason. So it was a training reason to test out and whatnot. So it was about half and half, about 15 of those recon people and 17 of the division. They picked from each battalion a couple. I don't know how I got picked. I have no idea. I was already a I think I was a corporal at the time. Gung-ho, but everybody else was too. Anyway, and very light. I was one of those, and that was 4 days of a ski trek, midwinter, 50 miles, carried everything yourself, 90 pounds, skis and snowshoes. On new snow, you're going along, you have about 5 minutes for the lead man, he steps aside, the others keep going because you just can't break snow. You just can't do it that long. And it just kept going. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but on the other hand, probably the thing that I'll remember last, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It did more good than anything else. We got to here and into the Hotel Jerome, $1 a night at the Hotel Jerome with food. And then we skied here for 3 or 4 days and then went back, fortunately, by truck.
Yeah.